Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. Ada for asking my husband to choose between his daughters. I hope this post doesn't look. I'm so agitated, God help me. My husband, male 51, and I had been married for 21 years. He divorced his pregnant wife in order to be with me, but he could see his daughter Kristen whenever he pleased. Later, I gave birth to our daughter Sasha, but my husband was cheating on me, so we separated, and I banned him from seeing our baby. He missed her in her early years, and I believe that affected everything. He does not treat Kristen, 21, and Sasha, 18, equally. Kristen is his number one priority. If she calls, he comes running, and if she asks, he can drop everything. He pays for Sasha's education, but she isn't a priority for him. He's always talking about Kristen. Everything revolves around her. Sasha is aware of it, and it bothers her. Kristen must despise me for causing her mother and my husband to fall out. She is always doing things to irritate me. She calls my husband 5 times a day, even late at night when she knows he's with me, to talk. She makes him spend a week with her every month just chilling in his apartment. He never spends as much time with Sasha, despite the fact that we live together. If I can convince us to watch a movie together, I'll consider it a win. My husband recently informed me that he had given everything to Kristen in his will. When Sasha gets only one room in an old hostel building, she gets an apartment and he gets his WW2 collection. There's a cat now. Kristen already has 3, and there isn't room for any more, so she hauled one into my husband's apartment. She claims he was thrown away, and she simply wanted to give him a home. That's nonsense. She's doing all she can to keep my husband locked up in his second apartment, away from his other kid and me. He must now remain there defeated. Kristen does it when he isn't there, but now he has a reason to spend more time at his place, and he continues to do so. Kristen knew it would be like this, and I'm sure she did it on purpose. I urged my husband to give the cat away or we'd have a problem, and he said he'd think about it. But then he went and checked with Kristen. According to what I've heard, she accused him of betraying that cat and stopped speaking to him. My husband spent the whole night writing her apologies, and he promised me he'd never get rid of the cat. He didn't even want it. Kristen gave it to him. It's just another item keeping him away from his family. I'd had enough and forced him to choose between Kristen and Sasha. He can't be in 2 relationships at the same time, and if he loves about Sasha, he needs to show it by choosing her at least once. It was weeks ago, and he still refuses to give me an explanation, and I keep feeling like in a hole, but then I get upset. I know he adores Kristen, but maybe the fear of not seeing Sasha will make him realize he has another daughter who needs his whole care. So Ada for wanting my spouse to concentrate on our kid for a change instead of racing around after his first daughter. Story 2. Ada for not lying about why I could not remove my headscarf. I haven't been able to sleep because of this, so I started a Reddit solely for a verdict. Thanks. I'm a bridesmaid for one of my best friends, Jackie, and I'm 24 years old, 24 female. I'm pleased to assist. I was in charge of the bridal shower, including activities, decorations, and the cuisine, but I delegated the guest list to Jackie's sister. I wear a headscarf for religious reasons. I adore it and am quite proud of it. I was telling the other bridesmaids in the group chat how happy I am to attend a girls-only event. I had my hair colored lately and wanted to show it off. I'd even paid extra to have a girls-only crew that day. As visitors arrive, I see one of them is Tori, 26 female. Tori is a family friend of Jackie's, although I only met her a few times before she transitioned to female. I was aware of it, but I had no idea she was going to the shower. Of course, I don't mind at all, and she's a great lady, but I opted to keep my scarf on. As everyone is eating, I'm walking by the tables to make sure everyone is okay, and one of the bridesmaids commented that they hadn't seen my hair and that they'd wanted to see the difference in person. At first, I attempted to downplay it or say, "Oh, I'll show you later." However, the other females at the table were intrigued. I became uneasy and just said, "Oh, I'm not really comfortable taking it off right now." When asked why, I said that there are certain visitors I don't feel comfortable taking it off in front of. There was a collective "oh," and I thought to myself, cool, that's over. However, one female became hostile and demanded whether I was referring about Tori. She makes a lot of noise, and the other tables turn to look at her. I don't respond. I respond yes when the girl asks whether I wear one with males. She claims there are no guys in the room, so obviously you should take it off. I tell her once again that I'm keeping it on. Another bridesmaid comes to my defense and tells the girl to calm down. Tori approaches and claims that my refusal to remove it is a slap in the face to her identity. I was really taken aback and had no idea what to do. Tori and a few other females eventually left, claiming it was insulting. I'm sorry that I destroyed a lovely day for my buddy. It's producing further problems, with guests threatening to quit the wedding because of bigotry towards me or Tori. I don't believe I was in error. Tori can be Tori, and I can be myself. It would be the same as my forcing Tori or someone else to adapt for me. Rather than becoming one-sidedly awakened, I believe we should just accept and appreciate one another. My question is more about being truthful about why I couldn't. Jackie is on my side, but Jackie's sister is chastising her. She said she purposefully omitted that information from the guest list in order to put me to the test. Jackie believes I should have brushed it off and stated I was having a poor hair day or avoided responding at all. I never mentioned Tori's name in my response, and I don't believe it was impolite, but given how much stress it's creating, I'm wondering whether I should have made up a lie. Is it okay if I apologized for how I handled the situation? Info: many people are offended by the awake one-sided statement. Tori and a few others pressed it when I said no, and Tori gave me the ultimatum that I take it off as a symbol of respect or they would go. No, I said. They mocked me, my religion, and even the bride and those who stood up for me. They were openly hostile to my faith, and Jackie's sister purposefully set everything up. I'm not sure where she is in her transition or what her preferences are from a religious sense. I would never ask either of those questions since they are too intimate. But it is information I would want to have before deciding how comfortable I am with showing my hair. Update. Hello, everyone. Although I recognize that Reddit is not the appropriate forum for this topic, I received a lot of encouraging replies and felt compelled to respond. The days after the wedding shower disaster were strained. Many people believe I depicted the discussion harshly, but I know everyone left feeling deeply upset, regardless of who was on their side. Jackie and I first chose to ignore it in the hopes that it would go away, but it became too tough. I read your remarks and realized Tori was probably feeling the same way. I did contact out to her personally and asked to speak with her. I stressed how important my headscarf is to me and how offended I was by the symbol of respect remark. I told her I didn't intend to single her out during the party. I was caught off guard and didn't do enough research to know how to respond. Tori said what many of you did in the comments. She feels the argument is transphobic. I recognize that it was an unjust circumstance in which people exploited her as a scapegoat to produce such a terrible predicament. Unfortunately, I don't believe we reached a satisfactory conclusion. At the end of the day, regardless of the ambiguity of the circumstance, there are certain fundamental ideas that we disagree on. I tried my best to explain that for me, following my convictions does not have to be synonymous with transphobia, but she disagrees and she has every right to do so. She thinks asking me to take it off isn't stupid, since she was trying to show a point. The fact that we both got to communicate and explain ourselves was a plus. We also had a therapeutic hour yelling about Jackie's sister. Fortunately, she agreed to attend the wedding. Everyone had heard what had transpired, and everyone at the wedding were maintaining their distance from me and Tori. Jackie had a fantastic night, and everything else went off without a hitch. It was difficult to meet with individuals who disagreed with me and were impolite that day. But I appreciate all of the encouraging responses I received. Many of you were perplexed by how much work I went to make the wedding shower a women-only affair. I only get to dress up like that a couple times a year. I hadn't done my hair for an occasion in at least 2 years. Outside my family, no one notices, so I do go overboard when the occasion arises. It's not just the hair. It's an opportunity for me to wear things I wouldn't normally wear in public because it's a safe place for me. My buddies were all aware of this, which is why they were so eager to watch it as well. Jackie's sister's role. We don't get along very well. She is anti-religion and has made no secret of it in the past. According to Jackie and I, she and the first bridesmaid, who became a bit forceful in her questions, had discussed the problem. They felt it would be interesting to watch what I do, and she feels it showed Jackie my true self. Obviously, none of the girls served as bridesmaids during the wedding. Jackie's sister, on the other hand, was still invited.